I seen Austin over there. I think we seen it, him in the Facebook group, man, and he was talking demo and everything, and my ears perked up right away just because this week I just had a big demo quote. Lady called me up and told me to come out. Now it's in the middle of nowhere, so it's 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back. So we got 80 minutes to a dump and all that. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. And so this is my first time to ever go quote a demo job. So I was a little nervous rolling up and everything. Well, I roll up there, and now we start walking to the backyard and everything. And this is a pretty far walk, and now we start going down a hill. And I'm like, oh shit, where is she taking me right now? Next thing I see this huge monster structure. In my head, this is what's going on in my head. Tell this lady you're not prepared for this. You can't handle this. You've never did anything like this, and move on. So lady starts talking and everything, and my head just keeps going, yep, definitely can't handle this. Way too big. All right, we're going to tell her we can't. All of a sudden, my mouth opens up. Sure, we can handle all this, and we'll start clearing out everything. And I'm like, did I really just say? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm putting myself in a position right now. So the way that it started off was, somebody was been breaking into this place and supposedly living in the shed or whatever. And I mean, they just wrecked the inside. It looks like there's animals living in there. There's no lights, no nothing. I mean, it is just 40 years worth of stuff in here and all. So the way I said, as I set the price for the full load, and I said, we're going to start clearing out that, by how many loads, that'll be your price. Then when we get everything out there, we'll talk demo. So I haven't thrown no numbers at her or anything like that. She's still up in the air if she wants to demo it. She was still saying that, she might want to keep the structure. But when I'm in it, the whole floor is literally just falling out from underneath. I think as soon as we get in there, it's going to fall apart. So it's 10 by 20. It's probably going to be about at least 50 feet away from the truck. I'm going to have to bring it all the way up in the backyard in the grass and everything, but it's still going to be a 50 feet haul from there. And it's on this crazy kind of steep hill. So I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, how, if I need to go and take this down, how do I even go about pricing this and all that? So Austin, I'm glad I have you on here for this. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what
man,
the hell do I do now, bro?
So yeah, I'm not super familiar with how California does things, availability of equipment, and how the rental stuff goes there, and what equipment you own. But it sounds to me like I call it I don't actually call it this to the client, but I call it to me I call it an ass tax, which is a pain in the ass tax. But um, the down the hill stuff, 50 feet, it just sounds like something you're going to do with a machine, something like a 12 or an 18,000 pound Mini X. And once you get it on the ground, you can push it up the hill with the front blade, and load it into whatever you're going with. Whether it's your personal trucks or dumpsters, or whatever you're using for that project. But, I like to really utilize, I'm an efficiency guy, right? So I don't try to pinch pennies on, well, I could probably tie a chain to this thing and pull it down if it's in as bad a shape as you can. That's something we might do here in Kentucky. I don't know how California is, but we got a lot of guys in Kentucky that might just tie a chain to something and rip it down. But, if it comes down as easy as you say it's in bad shape. If it comes down that easy, you're really likely going to be able to just pile it up with an excavator, push it up the hill, load it, and go.
So I got to stop you right there, brother. So you lost me as soon as you started with the equipment, with the excavators and all. I've never worked anything like that with equipment. In my head, I'm going to that and I'm thinking like, sledgehammers. I'm going to, cut off the roof and all. So am I way over? Yeah.
So if it's a 10 by 20 structure, like you say it is, that's pretty small. If it's not too tall, if it was under 14 to 16 feet tall at its peak, I would say it's manageable by hand. But it all kind of depends on how busy your schedule is. Like if I look at something like that and I've got a day or two gap in my schedule, then maybe we could take it down by hand and lug it up the hill. But for $350, at least in Kentucky, I can get a piece of machinery that's going to allow me to get that done in a day, and I'm going to, barely break a sweat, because I'm going to should be sitting in the seat and running it like a video game, with my hands. So it kind of just all depends on a lot of different factors, like how busy your schedule is, and then if you want a higher margin on the project, then you could do it by hand. But you just balance out like wear and tear on your guys or yourself versus doing it with equipment. So it's something like that. I'm probably going to do it with equipment, but that's not to say you couldn't do it with
What's the formula now for pricing? Like, how would you go about pricing something like that?
So I am very different in the industry from what I've seen on pricing. I see a lot of guys throwing square foot numbers around, price per square foot on, this stuff and that stuff. And I've been doing this for 4 years. Last year we did 140 different demolition projects. I've never priced anything by the square foot, not once. And that's because there's so many variables in the demolition process. The 10 by 20 structure, I didn't even ask you if it had some sort of foundation under it, right? So if it's a dirt floor versus a concrete foundation, that's going to change things. Same square footage, but it adds a different factor to it. So in this specific scenario, I have the most simple pricing model ever. It's just like everybody. How much is it going to cost me to do it? What kind of margins do I need to make based on the current company projections and budget? And then that's my number. So if I want to do it with a machine, I just take the machine costs, my disposal costs, estimated obviously. And if you've been doing it long enough, like, a lot of the guys here watching have, then you're pretty good at guessing your disposal costs and your volume. Then I just add it all up, come to my cost. And right now I'm operating at about a 45 to 50% gross margin. And I put that margin on there and that's my number. And as long as everything goes according to plan, we make the money that we need to and, go from there. So in this specific scenario, if it's a 10 by 20, I'm going to figure 2 30-yard dumpsters. Just because I haven't seen it, I don't know what it looks like. I'm going to figure 2 30s, a piece of machinery at $350, and a day's labor for an operator, $320. My cost on that project is $1,570. And then I just throw my margin on top of it, and that's the money that I need to make. In this specific scenario, I'm going to look to make about $1,000 on that. And, that's my number. So $2,500. Here's your quote. Have a nice day.
Okay. Mr. Yee, I want to hear you. How many demo jobs have you did? Is that part of, services that you offer and all?
Everything depends on the grade of that hill. If we can, get some kind of equipment down there as far as a debris box, or if I can get my 4-wheel truck down there.
Okay, hold on, Mr. Yee. You're gonna understand the area, so I want to tell you the area and all. So as far as getting equipment, I don't think it's possible where we are. We're in Bodega Bay. So
yeah,
so bro, we're in. Yeah, we're in the middle of nowhere, windy roads, crazy mountains, and that hill. There's no way I don't think, with equipment.
So like he said, you're going to have to use that piece of equipment to dig your way up and hold your way up and drag your way up, but also with the equipment. And then we have to get a experienced equipment operator to do that. Otherwise, we are knocking that down. But here in California, there's a lot of regulations where you have to have a water tank. You have to wet the situation down, because some neighbors will complain and say, hey, there's dust everywhere. And now we have a situation where here comes code enforcement, or stop the whole project because the county just came out and, hey, where is your water tanks to hose everything down? You have debris all in the air. And is that old building, does that old building has asbestos in it? Oh, so we don't know a lot of these things. So my experience with this type of situation is, like you said, I would have to go there, know my dump fees, know how many guys I'm going to have to get to do this job, and how am I going to get from A to B? Because I know a place out here where we're at, I can rent a piece of equipment, but it's double that of what he said. And then I will actually ask the owner, sorry for that, Ching, but I would ask the owner, can you operate the piece of equipment for me too? So we're going to have to probably add on another $500 bill for him. And say if it's a 10 by 20, that's probably doable for a day's work right there. And then gas and all that. But now that we're in Bodega Bay, we are, in the boondocks. So
Yeah.
all that, he said 1,500. I'm probably
That's
thinking
my
about.
cost. Yeah.
I'm out here in Northern California. We're probably thinking $4,000 to $5,000.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
just based
That's
on
crazy. Yeah.
our prices, and then our gas fees, our labor fees, everything is double out here.
And Austin, and just so you know, brother, it's Bodega Bay is like a special place. It's not like a normal place.
Okay.
You're in the middle like of nowhere, all the way far away by the coast and everything.
Okay.
Everything's hard to get over there. So, but I wanted to make mention is my man Adam Hummel. He's been on the show quite often, and he's been helping me out with the pricing and all. And he goes by it's $8 to $12 per yard. That is his. Now, once he heard, my dump prices, he said definitely be at the higher range. I think he even said $12 to $15 per square footage. And if you figure that out, I think it comes around 2,500 to 3,500. So, you have a different formula, Austin, of figuring out.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we came to the same pretty much price
Yeah.
range and all.
Yeah.
So you're
And
pretty
my
dead
costs
up.
are probably different. Like I don't know what the disposal fees are where you are, or what a dumpster cost in your area. So, that
What is your
that
dump
change
fees by
things.
you?
On average, it's about 80 a ton. It's about
Ah.
what we pay here. There's some places in Central Kentucky that will absolutely bend you over. And you'll end up paying with the city and taxes, and they use a fuel reclaim fee and all kinds of weird stuff. You might end up paying $120 to $130 a ton. So
Brother,
we avoid those. But
we walk around with sticks up our ass over here because we pay $165. Man, they stick it to us
my
real good, here, man.
gosh. Yeah,
Well,
I wouldn't know what to do with that.
I think with this job, it would be networking with other haulers to get a debris box out there, maybe like you said, a 40-yarder, and then go from there. And then, hey, Yee Yee, who's your guy who could rent the equipment and drive it all the way there for us? And
Right.
can he be the equipment runner for the day?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
Makes sense.
That's how, because he rents me D-Max trailers, skids. He's got everything, and he'll deliver it to your
Yeah.
work site.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
Ignacio says, charge them per truckload and set an hourly rate. You'll come out fat. Oh yeah, man.